Squatting is the act of occupying an abandoned or unoccupied space or building, usually residential, that the squatter does not own, rent, or otherwise have permission to use. Squatting is significantly more common in urban areas than rural areas, especially when urban decay occurs. In many countries, squatting is in itself a crime. In others, it is only seen as a civil conflict between the owner and the occupants. Anarchist Colin Ward comments, "Squatting is the oldest form of tenure in the world, and we are all descended from squatters. The country is riddled with empty houses, and there are thousands of homeless people." In 2003, it was estimated that there were 15,000 squatters in England and Wales. To find out more about squatters, I arranged a meeting with Andrew Johnson, member of the alternative organisation of the Bristol Housing Action Movement.
It's probably about 100 people. It's difficult to know, and there are probably more travellers. At the moment, it's about 25 squats. The most obvious reason is that they just can't find anywhere else to live. Probably because they simply can't afford the rents, or the council can't find them anywhere because there's very few council houses now in Bristol. Well, the obvious bad thing about squatting is that it's often impermanent. You don't get very long. There's a lot of upheavals. Sometimes squatters find that they are up against the authorities, the police, bailiffs. They've got to deal with all that kind of stuff. So that isn't so nice for squatters. The good thing about squatting is, the simple one is, you can save money. A more kind of profound reason, if you like, is that you can actually be part of a community. For some people it can develop into one. It's a kind of lifestyle because it's impermanent, so people have to live in a particular way, for example, with minimal or a few possessions. They have to be adaptable over things like electricity, possibly water. They need to be able to do some housework and building work and live with different kinds of people. So yes and no. I mean, it may be a choice or it may not. Whatever, it becomes a lifestyle because it's a particular way of living.
According to the British law, squatting is not, strictly speaking, a civil offence. It is a criminal offence against the owner of the property, which to all intents and purposes means that it is an unlawful practice, but not illegal. You can be convicted of a criminal offence if you have caused damage to the property by gaining entry, covered under the Criminal Justice Act 1994. The owners are well within their rights to evict squatters, but they must go to a civil court in order to gain a possession order. Squatters do have limited rights. A landlord cannot remove squatters by violence or force, only through the legal process. Under squatters' rights, if a property has been lived in for 12 years, then it effectively becomes the property of the squatters. To find out more about squatters and their lives, I decided to visit Alex, a squatter from Bristol.
This is our house, if you'd like to come in. I live here with my friends, Austin, Pete, Phil and Anna. We've been living here for about 5 months, and the house has been abandoned for, coming up to a year now. It's in a very bad state, so we decided to move in instead of finding some other house to go and rent. If you'd like to have a look around. We didn't break into the house. We were very lucky because one of the back windows had no lock on it. So we entered through the back window, which is completely legal, and once we were inside the house, we locked the doors with our own locks, and since then this house has been legally our house according to British law. This is my room. When I first arrived in this room, there was about an inch of dust on the floor. There were very thick carpets, which were maybe, we think, about 60 years old, maybe older. So very difficult living conditions. There was very old wallpaper that was covered in cobwebs. I think this is a really beautiful house. We've had to work very hard to make the house habitable and to make it our home. But it is a home now, and it's our home. It's my home. This is the kitchen. It's very messy. So we used gas